Okay everybody, let's run through a quick explanation here of the creative representation rubric and how you will be graded on this type of project. Now, if we look over on the left hand side in the first column, we have the four criteria on which you will be graded for the creative aspect of this project. Keep in mind you still will receive the same 15-point grade related to the content that every other project type is receiving. This is in addition to those. So let's talk about the criteria. First, we have originality. Second, staying on topic. Third, visual appearance. And fourth, clear/understandable. For each of these criteria, you can earn a maximum of 3 points. So earning 3 points would be our mastery grade. That's our best grade. You can also pass with a proficient grade of 2. Or if you are unsatisfactory in any of these categories, you will receive a 0 and be required to redo any of those different sections. Now, let's talk about originality here for a few minutes. Originality, what does that really mean? That means you're providing something unique, a unique expression, and something that is not a carbon copy of previous works. That's this idea of creativity. So creative really is original, if we want to put it into words there. Now, so if you're being original, that means you have something that isn't really or hasn't been duplicated by somebody else. Now, it's not to say that you're always going to have the most original of everything. Sometimes things will be a little bit similar, but it's a general approach. Are you trying to do something creative here? Now, you can earn a 3 out of 3 for being unique and not having a carbon copy. You can earn a 2 out of 3 if you improve upon somebody else's work in some fashion. So you use a format that's pretty commonly used, but you do it in a way that's a little bit more creative. Or if just in general, let's say you do something that is pretty unique, but it just could be more creative in the way in which you went about doing it, that also would be a 2 out of 3. If you're doing something that's a carbon copy or there's no creativity involved, you're going to get a 0 out of 3 and you will be required to redo this creative representation. So, some originality. Let's look at this poster. Now, when you see many posters that don't have any visual aids and there's nothing really creative about the way the wording is presented, it's just really factual, very logical, and not very unique. In this poster, I think you can see there's a little bit of change here. We've got words that are going a different direction. We've got a lot of images that are being added in here. A lot of unique things that I think we would all agree with are creative representations. I think that's a good example of a poster, which is something very common that people will do for this project, but a way of making it a little bit more original. This is another one here that's pretty original. I don't know if you can see that we have our path here going from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on. That's a creative little method being used here to kind of direct the learner throughout the board in a creative manner, showing the work. And it's not to say that their drawings are Picasso-esque, but it doesn't matter. It's creative, it's using your resources, and using your space wisely as well. Originality in this form is pretty good. Now, many of you are saying, so we're supposed to do a poster, and the answer is no. That's something that people oftentimes have done. You can do many other things, though. Movies can be done, scrapbooks, journals. Those are all examples of things that can be creative and original when done right. And that's a key thing here. With a movie, if you sit in front of a camera and read an essay and you don't change at all, that's not creative or original at all, and you actually will have to redo it because it's not very original. If you do a journal entry and it really is more of an essay, but you just write Dear Diary, then you write an essay, that's not original either. So make sure that you are creative in the way in which you do any of these different types of projects. Next, staying on topic, it says in the mastery box here, all aspects of this project are connected to the goals of the project. That's the key idea here. Are you connected to the goals, or are you straying? So like right here, straying and is too far off topic in too many locations. Revisions need to be made. So what we're trying to do is make sure we focus on the goal of the project. With videos, the most common error is that people get too much into this whole blooper reel thing. Having a blooper reel at the very end of the video, that's one thing. Having bloopers all throughout the video, that's a totally different thing. And if you have a lot of time being wasted and you're getting upwards of 10-15 minutes in a video and much of it is not accomplishing any goals, that's when you really need to look and say, are we on topic and are we on task, or are we getting way too off task? Having an image like this on a poster or anything really probably isn't going to fit with your project. So you need to think about it, something like this. Yeah, maybe it's humorous, but is it really related in supporting your project? Because you can still be humorous in ways that are really on topic still. Think about how to do that more effectively. Even something like this, let's say your project is about the Revolutionary War or the Civil War, and you have a photo like this. There could be points taken off for staying on topic because in reality, this picture is related to a totally different war. And if you're trying to portray that this is a part of the Revolution or of the Civil War, then this really doesn't fit. And if you don't know why helicopters weren't around, this is from Vietnam. So something to think about is making sure that you stay focused on the topic in which you're covering. Third, we have visual appearance. Let's get back here to this one right here. So project appearance is visually appealing and appropriate for the topic it is being used to describe. So, in other words, is it appealing looking and is it appropriate for what you're doing? Because there really are different ways that we can look at this. In some projects, let's say you're doing an essay or excuse me, not an essay, but a journal entry. You could say, well, I'm just writing. Well, you can still be creative in the way in which you do it. So you need to think about the type of project you're creating. So let's say this then. On the left, we have one journal entry. Writing it by hand, okay, yeah, that's a journal entry, but does it look as nice as the version on the right? And you can't really see it because it's a little bit unclear. But on the right, we have a paper that's made to look a little bit older with some pictures that are kind of dyed through from what was going on at the time period. And then they also added in the calligraphy font to make it look nice and neat. So think about those ways of kind of improving the visual appearance. Whether it be a poster, a journal, or even on a video, you want to make sure that the appearance of it is solid and high quality. That's something to think about on your own, how you can make that best work for your specific project. And finally, is it clear and understandable? Is the message or goal of the project clear and understandable? Can it be followed? And is it clear that editing and revision has taken place to make sure that it is clear and understandable? That's what we're looking for here. So while it is nice to be abstract at times, and there's nothing wrong with being abstract in certain aspects of your project, it has to be something that can be followed by the teacher or by whoever is looking at it, and it has to be explainable. If it's so abstract that what you're trying to prove doesn't really have any representation in your project, then you will lose points in this section. So overall, that is our creative representation rubric here in a nutshell. 12 points. Make sure that you maintain some originality here and you're being creative. Make sure you stay on topic. Make sure you pay attention to the visual appearance of your project to make sure it is high quality. And finally, make sure that it is clear and understandable, that somebody who looks at it will understand it. I hope that helped you out.